And yes, you lot, my first vlog. I'm gonna try to do this as often as I can. This is very weird, by the way, but I'm gonna be chatting about my product, my development, how I'm designing things, and just how strenuous and tedious it can get. I obviously love designing, but when I design it in my head and then on paper, and then it doesn't match it in the physical when I make it as a product, it stresses me out, innit? And this happens quite often. And then sometimes it goes the other way, where it looks good and sick on paper and in my head, and then in person it like blows my mind. It's like amazing. So it goes both ways. But right now I'm stuck on an experimental hoodie I'm designing for 2025. It is Saturday the 9th of November right now. I'm in the studio because this is my creative experience, is how I design in it. Like, things aren't perfect all the time, and sometimes the mistakes I make end up being my favorite things about the process in it. So yeah, sometimes mistakes in your work or mistakes in life or things that don't work out can actually set you up to be like the most beautiful things in art, in life, experiences, whatever. So yeah. Reverse print, it's quite scribbled, done by hand. I want it quite messy, and also I've got like different technique here, so you'll be able to see like the K here is like a different technique to this one here, and the bits of the M and bits of the A. So the goal is really just to have something that looks different and to create like kind of like a texture, so when you look at it you can see like a 3D texture type to it, but that hasn't happened. And another thing as well, it's too thin. I feel like it's not recognizable from far. You can't see, one, the beauty in the embroidery, and two, you can't see the name, which obviously I'm a small brand. People need to know what they're like, what's being worn in it. If I want to build the brand awareness is quite important. So these are two things I'm kind of battling with at the minute. I do love the embroidery though, but yeah, black on black I love as well. I love like stealthy, subtle stuff as well, but it kind of needs to be the right fit, the right balance. So it's got my blanks, my normal blanks, cut and sewn, quite a boxy fit, slightly cropped, beautiful. I'm gonna put it on for you lot and show you. So this is what has been done embroidery wise on this hoodie, and it's been 3D and 2D. So bits like this are 2D here, little triangle inside the A is 2D, these other bits 3D. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna spice it up a little bit. It does look beautiful, man. Obviously the fabric and the quality, the fit's all consistent. That's what I'm running with. I feel like I've got that knuckled down. For me now, it's just about the graphic really, because some of these ones, they're quite plain and traditional in their pattern, and then other ones, which I'm going to show you at a later date that I'm developing, they're completely custom patterns. The way that the fabric's cut off the roll is completely separate, completely unique, completely individual to AMSK and what my brand's about. So I've really like doubled down, got more knowledge on certain things, got my studying bag, and kind of just got sharper in it in every aspect really. And I feel like I got that clarity, like as a brand and as a designer, I like things slightly off intentionally, just because why not? What, the world isn't perfect, you know what I mean? I'm still in reality, kind of, that's a bar. But yeah, I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me get my glasses on. So look, so how it fits. This is a size small. So yeah, I like you can kind of have like a layer into it. It looks cold. But yeah, you see what I'm saying? I think the positioning's perfect. Large right across the chest, backwards, subtle, black on black, but you just can't see it. It's too subtle almost. And I wanted it to have that intended level, like that intended texture, like a 2D/3D feel and a, like visual effect, and I haven't got that. So yeah, I'm just having a bit of trouble figuring out how I'm gonna get that effect. That was from I took that from a Valentine's drop I did, where you could kind of, I put falling in love with who I'm becoming, but backwards. So that the kind of narrative was self-love, so you can only look in the mirror, read the words like a mantra type thing. It's only understandable to you. And when you're walking on the street or whatever, it's all backwards. It looks like gibberish to the average person walking past you. So I thought that was hard. So I'm kind of running with that little concept as well. But yeah, I feel like I've got a lot of work to do on this. Fits perfect. Fits perfect, quality's perfect. It's just this embroidery thing is doing my nutting. But it looks beautiful, man. I even considered doing like, where am I going? Like here, keeping this line here or one stitch, changing this stitch and having this like a flat stitch or done by hand or something. So you have this bit here and then you have a straight stitch, because that just makes each piece that whole lot more individual. And yeah, man hours. A lot of this stuff is costing a lot because I'm putting a lot of man hours into it. For someone to put this on a machine, do some embroidery, take it off, run a different thread under it, different colour, or run a different stitch entirely, you need to change the settings on the machine, take the clothing off, change the settings on the machine, put the clothing back on the machine, run it under again. It's a lot of hours as opposed to just, like a lot of garments will just have one stitch the whole way around. And the person putting everything together will just have the one machine that they're sewing all the patches onto, all the pieces together. But me, I'm doing things a bit differently. So straight down to the way things are cut and sewn and getting manufactured, it's completely like bespoke, which is what I want. I'd rather that way and produce less pieces and make less sales. But the people that are buying and that are wearing a brand know that a lot of thought, love, time, effort, a lot of design has gone into like the pieces that they wear and sport and invest in, really. So a lot to be learned, a lot to do. Obviously this isn't entirely possible when I'm moving like 100,000 units. But because I'm small, I'm able to do that. But you can't even see it very well, man. Yeah. Okay. It's hard still. So look, when speaking about that hoodie, yeah, I love how it is. But I'm gonna try to see if we can double down on that textured effect. So so there's more of that 3D, 2D effect to it. So I'm gonna stick with the 2D stitch. I wanna try put maybe foam under the embroidery machine before it's getting run through. Yeah. So that you have like a raised effect. Similar to like a foam trucker cap. What they usually put is foam inside it and then the polyester mesh over the top. So it has like a spongy 3D feel. And you visibly be able to tell. what I want is kind of when lines shone on it, you can kind of, the embroidery will kind of cast a slight shadow depending on where you're looking at it and how you're looking at it. So we're gonna try flip the stitch so it's readable. We're gonna try put it in a different color, and then we could probably put it in a. Let's have a little look in it. Let's have a little look. That's what we currently have, effectively. So I want to double it up, have it back over the top. So what I was saying about doing the 3D and putting foam under it, I want this on the original layer. Yeah. So we do what we done again, but put foam in it, have it more like a 3D effect. That'll be cold. Have that in black, that's subtle. And then something maybe a bit thinner, a bit plainer, more readable, but maybe in a different color and a different type of stitch. Designing this black experimental hoodie, I decided on reversing it, put it in a like a silvery, slightly lighter grey, and that'll pop on the black. So you got the black fabric, black 2D and 3D embroidery over the top, and then that same text is reversed so it reads correctly, and that's in a grey, and that'll be in a different stitch. So it'll be different color, the grey, and it'll be in a different stitch. So this will look like, I couldn't decide on one, so I went with two, which is partially correct, but it's also, it just looks hard, do you know what I mean? So that's what we're going with. It's like a refined thought, but it's a raw thought, because I'm not refining it to perfection. Like, it is what it is. That looks hard. We'll see in person. I mean, it might look like it's doing too much and it's too messy, in which case I might need to strip it back a little bit. But I like the idea of having things not being the way they're supposed to be. Like, a product in general should not have embroidery over embroidery again. Because you think about embroidery, that's kind of like an elevated class. It's more classy than like a screen print. Especially when it's like there's a beauty to it, like the 2D and 3D. But then I'm just putting something else over it because I'm like, that's not that important. Like, that's cool, that's pretty, but like this, I like that idea. So like of it being busy. So the piece almost looks like an argument or like a discussion. That's actually hard. That's actually very hard. So this is it on computer.